Good morning, brothers and sisters, and welcome to the 115th regular meeting of the Executive Board. I'm sure you've all heard the expression, may you live in interesting times. It's safe to say that these are interesting times for the airline industry. On the industrial side, we're seeing positive trends in the bargaining cycles for the mainline carriers. Unfortunately, it doesn't hold true across the board. But like it or not, cycles are the nature of contract negotiations. But being members of ALPA helps us weather these storms. That's why we pool our resources and work together. ALPA pilots work through our union to support each other through good times and bad. This morning, I'll give you a quick outline of some of the projects that I'm involved with. Then I want to share with you an example of how some of our members are working through the association to help others, and a new challenge that we face. No Vice President of Administration report is complete without the review of our membership numbers. As of September 1st, ALPA represents 51,334 pilots at 31 airlines. This breaks down to 44,061 active members, 2,976 apprentice or reactivated members, and 720 members on furlough. Since our last meeting, the AirTran pilots have moved into custodianship and will soon be represented by SWAPA. We appreciate the contributions of the AirTran pilots in furthering the pilot profession. We hope to have these pilots back in our ranks in the near future. And speaking of membership, I'm happy to report that ALPA's National Membership Committee has a new chair, United First Officer Yolanda Winfleet. Yolanda has served ALPA in many ways and will add value to this group. She's already made contact with all of our MEC membership chairs. Yolanda, are you in the room? Please stand up. Thanks, Yolanda. She's telling them about the new membership cards that will be distributed next year and the membership seminar that she will host in 2015. I want to thank Yolanda for taking on this important ALPA post. ALPA's IT and services staff is busy with a number of projects. Working together with the Information Technology Advisory Committee, the IT department has purchased a new platform to host ALPA's website. The new site is going to have a brand new look. We will have a demonstration for you at the Board of Directors meeting to give you a sense of the website's updated look and feel. At this Executive Board meeting, you will review a new cell phone policy. And if passed, the resolution would allow authorized pilots to purchase their phone of choice and to be reimbursed for their service plan they use for ALPA business. This proposed change would relieve the association from having to maintain its current cell phone service contract. It would also allow pilots greater flexibility in choosing their own providers. You will also weigh in on a resolution addressing ALPA-sponsored message bulletin boards or forums. Specifically, we will discuss an option regarding clarification of the language governing ALPA forums. Only ALPA members may post to these forums, and the posts are not viewable by the public. But a recent review of the policy language revealed that it does not specifically prohibit an ALPA forum from being viewed by the public. At the June meeting, ITAC recommended that the language be revised to reflect ALPA's longstanding practice of keeping the ALPA forums private. Last month, the Executive Council approved ITAC's recommendation. ALPA will be using a new delegate registration and voting system at this year's BOD. We will have it set up in the front lobby today, so please stop by and give it a test run. And speaking of the BOD, the 45th regular meeting of the ALPA Board of Directors will be held at the Westin Diplomat in Hollywood, Florida, October 20th to the 23rd. This will be our last BOD meeting in Florida. We plan to hold the 2016 and the 2018 meetings in Washington, D.C. As your Vice President of Administration, it's my job to review the pilot groups and prepare a list of all airlines for each election group in preparation for the BOD. You and your fellow BOD members will meet in your respective election caucus to elect executive vice presidents for your groups. This slide highlights the updated groups. Now I'm going to quickly run down some of the important BOD dates for you to remember. ALPA will mail the advanced agenda and delegate committee assignments on September 19th. Roll call numbers based on ALPA's voting membership will be finalized on September 30th. October 4th, very important, is the last day you can send a meeting notice to fill any vacant office. Late agenda items, mail on October 6th. On-site registration for BOD delegates begins Friday, October 17th. National officer elections will be held on October 22nd, followed by EVP elections. Now, I know that's a lot to take in. For that reason, I'll skip the usual rundown of daily events at the BOD. All of that information will be available to you in your registration materials. Amy Eno from ALPA's Balloting and Local Council Support Department will be reaching out to each of the MECs. She will schedule group registration times and voting system demonstrations. The BOD will have a full agenda, and part of that schedule includes a report from ALPA's Professional Development Group. The PDG has been studying the effects of a large number of ALPA members who will turn 65 in the next 10 years. This includes the impact on the association on topics including finance, internal and external organizing, negotiations, and mentoring. Working through the PDG to attract future pilots and promote the profession is the ALPA Education Committee. This group met August 18th and 19th to talk about its activities. PSA First Officer Costas Savilis has been appointed the new Education Committee Chair. Costas has been active in the committee going back to his days as the first ACE Club president. He was a student at Embraer Daytona Beach. I was going to introduce Costas to you today, but he was at an ACE Club meeting last night in Daytona Beach. Got bumped off a flight this morning, so he couldn't make it, but you'll be able to meet him at the BOD. Costas has some great ideas for expanding this important pilot development program. I look forward to working with him in his new role. The Education Committee has approximately 600 pilot volunteers and has been active with ACE clubs at both campuses of Embry-Riddle, the University of North Dakota, Parks College at St. Louis University. And the committee also has outreach programs at Purdue, Southern Illinois, and Western Michigan. And you can read more about the great work that the Education Committee is doing in the September issue of the Airline Pilot magazine. The ALPA Emergency Relief Fund, or Pilots for Pilots, continues to provide for the immediate needs of members and their families affected by widespread disasters. Earlier this year, P4P sent posters to all ALPA local council chairmen to hang on their crew room bulletin boards. We want our members to know about this important resource. We also want to encourage members to contribute generously. And speaking of donations, a big contribution to P4P is coming from the AirTran Pilot Contingency Fund as the pilots of AirTran transition to Southwest. The AirTran MEC established this special fund with an assessment to provide financial assistance to its pilots experiencing severe financial hardships and also to cover certain merger-related expenses. Under the terms of this fund, the amount remaining is going to charities in the name of the AirTran pilots. P4P will receive $51,179.05. I want to thank the AirTran pilots for this substantial donation. Now, Mark couldn't make it today. He's flying, but Todd is still here. So, Todd, tell everybody thanks. The P4P Board of Directors will gather for its required annual meeting on September 16th. I would like to thank United First Officer Mark Siegeloff, United First Officer Christine Gromek, and PSA Captain Mark Stanley for supporting this important cause during this last year. Captain Stanley will be stepping down from his P4P post, and I'd like to welcome Spirit First Officer Barry Noman for filling this vacancy, and thank him as well. P4P is also producing a promotional video to raise awareness, which will air during the BOD. Finally, I'd like to share a quick story with you. I recently attended one of United MEC's open house events in Chicago. This event gave ALPA pilots the opportunity to meet with company representatives from flight operations, human resources, and the training department. These events help ALPA pilots better understand what to expect if they receive a call for an interview. This is a great example of pilots helping pilots. These open house events demonstrate how pilots are advancing the profession by working together. And I hope this kind of activity continues as a trend and not just an isolated incident. This opportunity makes us stronger as a union and more attractive to non-ALPA pilot groups. Now allow me to shift gears and take a moment to address last week's big announcement. Envoy Management publicly stated plans to divert all of the current CRJ flying to another airline. Aircraft that management intends to continue operating as part of the American Eagle network. By Envoy Management's estimate, this will cost 48% of the pilot's seniority list their jobs. Now, Envoy will survive, and I'm confident. However, each time one of these horrific announcements is made about any ALPA carrier, I think about the implications to our pilots, spouses, and children affected. And I pause and wonder what David Benke and the founders of this union would have done. I firmly believe that we as an association must work together to ensure that we don't receive any more announcements like this. I challenge each of you to join with me to make sure that the spirit of Benke and the key men talked about in Flying the Line lives within each of us as we represent our carriers. And if it does, I'm certain that our best days are ahead of us. We shall prevail for all of the members in the name of ALPA. Thank you, and may God bless the Airline Pilots Association.